Bilo. Go, get it running, man.
Dr. Knaak, Amsterdam. What an area. Where are we?
Dr. Bilo, here's Amsterdam, and actually quite good weather. Reasonable.
Yeah.
We're in front of the Amvest headquarter building, which is a huge glass facade, quite modern type of facade. And we're going to see Professor Tilman Klein, who's product and facade professor at TU Delft, very close friend of us. And he's going to talk about the principles of modern facades.
Ah, perfect. Looking forward to it. So, let's go. Cut.
Right, Tilman. So this time in a more technical, more modern building cut.
It's day one. We have never done this before, so therefore,
day one.
cut.
So, Tilman, this is a quite modern building, and we need to talk about the general setup, the general layout of facades. So, how are facades designed? What do they have to deal with?
Well, there are a number of functions a facade has to fulfill. You would start, of course, with weather protection. Of course, you need to provide a comfortable inner climate. In detail, that means daylight management, the light that comes in, but also the view to the outside. It means thermal comfort. You have to regulate the moisture. Ventilation is an important function, but there are also other functions like safety. You have to provide security in a way. Facade has to carry its loads, dead loads, but also wind loads and loads from thermal expansion and movements. So there's a whole range of functions a facade has to fulfill.
And what about appearance?
Oh yeah, and it's of course, let's say, the appearance of the architectural intent. So the facade is going to be seen as the facade, the face of the building, and in that sense, it also has a function for the urban setting it's placed in.
Okay, and how do we organize such a facade? These three lines of defenses is a wording which is always used. For example, at this type of facade, as it is.
Yeah, this is actually a nice example of a contemporary facade, and in this case even a double facade. So you can see the different layers. The first layer outside, the weather protection, is a single glazed facade unit, and behind that it's a ventilated space, about 40 to 50 centimeters, I would say. Behind it is the actual insulated glass. So you can say that's also part of the functional zone. Without the skin outside, it could also serve as a weather protection. And in that you have the insulated layer with the insulated glass, the insulated frame. This is also where the loads of the facade of the glass are carried down or up to the structure of the main structure of the building. Well, and then on the inside, of course, the facade is sealed, so the sealant is impossible. So that's what you call the inner line of defense, to make sure you don't get condensation in the facade and other effects.
Thank you. Tilman, how does this type of facade work? We see this outer screen, and we see this kind of fluffy curtain in between, and then we see some obviously insulated glass units, which is huge glass panes. There seems to be some ventilation. How does it work?
Yeah. So obviously the architect's intent was to create a big glass surface, and then we know that in our climate a lot of glass can be a problem in terms of overheating. It's also only not very well insulated. So in this case they have applied an outer layer in skin, which is the main weather protection, and that allows the sunshade to be placed on the outside of the thermal layer. And it can be kind of I think it's a metal mesh textile, so it can be very light. It's not affected by the wind. But of course you must make sure that this cavity is nicely ventilated. And what you can see there, it's the lower part is basically open. It's just protected so no birds can get in. And the upper part on top can be opened. So in summer you get a good ventilation of the facade. And in winter you can close it, and it's like an extra thermal buffer, so the temperature inside will be slightly higher than the outside. And then, as I said, the inner side is the insulated part, and which you don't see now. There are operable windows behind, so you can actually open them to the cavity, but you can also extract the air into the cavity, and it goes out on top.
Okay, so it's as you said, contemporary facade in the means of aesthetic and technology, as well as, say, energetic performance. That's the idea.
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay, thanks, cool. Herr Bilo, bist du einverstanden?
Yeah.
If Dr. Bilo is looking like this, if he's looking like this, when I see him like this, he's okay with it. We don't need to take the 15th take.